I'm here with Mr. Ajman Bonsu, who is the author of this book, The Council of Living Saints, or The Meditations of a Christian Saint. So if you need one, please go to Amazon to purchase one, just $15, right?
Yeah.
And you can go to TikTok Shop. It's a little bit of expensive in TikTok Shop because he's going to post it himself. So you can choose to go to Amazon, you can choose to go to TikTok Shop and get The Meditations of a Christian Saint. Opa, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you again.
All right, today I have a question for you.
Yes.
Lack and abundance. When you talk of lack as in, when you're here, you lack something. Not lucky, that we L-U-C-K. No, it's lack as in needs, right? And abundance. Which one is earthly and which one is divine?
Well, first of all, let me take the opportunity to thank our viewers and for subscribing and continue to follow us. We ask you to share it and comment. We love to hear from you, so thank you. Yes, I believe lack is earthly and abundance is of God. And
Okay.
yeah,
Why?
because lack, most of the times because of survival that we are in this world, we attribute lack to physical possession of things, the things that we need or have physically to live. But lack in itself, I believe, is one of our biggest enemy. Is lack. That man would lack, will lack wisdom, will lack knowledge, will lack peace, will lack joy,
Lack money.
lack. So necessarily, it's more like you separating from the very source of life, because we as human beings or beings, we are not the flesh. We live in this body, and we need replenishment all the time.
Okay.
And that source, that very thing that gives us life, which we know is God. So when you are separated from God or any kind of attribute of God, then you are lacking. You are lacking thereof. So and that is what manifests in the physical that we see, that you don't have this, you don't have that. But I believe it's painful thing to lack something in life.
All right. So when you read the book of Job, according to the Bible, Job was a rich, a wealthy person.
Yeah.
But God caused him to, I don't know whether it is the Satan who touched him or God who caused him to be. Which one was that? Because he became poor, all of a sudden he lacked so many things. He lost everything.
According to the Bible, God allowed.
God
Satan
allowed.
To touch him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
God allowed Satan to touch him, and then let him lose.
I'm asking this question because you said divine abundance is of God and lack is earthly. So if God allowed the Satan, so don't you think God can allow the Satan to touch other people, just to test their faith or something?
Yes, I mean that very story in the Bible raises a lot of theological questions and debate as to the value or function of Satan in the schemes of God's plan. So if we have Satan playing God's plan again, even coming into heaven, the audacity for Satan to show up in heaven and then among the sons of God, then is he also son of God? Why would he show up when God is calling son of God? So
of course he's the son of God. He's the son of God,
that
but
story really raises a lot of questions.
There are stubborn. I mean, the fact that one of my sons is stubborn doesn't mean he's not my son. He's my son.
But if he's the son of God, why then would we as humans also find him as an enemy of God?
But when you are putting up a certain behavior, right? And someone says that, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. It doesn't mean that there is a difference between you are stupid and don't be stupid. You see the differences? You are stupid, I would say, is an insult. But don't be stupid or don't be silly means don't put up the character of a stupid person. So for Satan, I can say that we human beings don't want to put up the character of a Satan, because his character will, the same thing that he did and God pushed him away from his presence. If you do that, you also call that for yourself. I mean, that is how I understand it.
Yeah, again, as I said, it has a background for theological debate. But
Okay.
back to the lack thereof. Yeah, as you can see, the story makes us understand that God built a hedge around him. He gave him abundance. He gave me all those things. I mean, that was physical things that we are talking about. And if you look at church too, uh, those days and even now, we have a lot of prosperity preaching because they've made abundance and prosperity as a symbol of blessing, and God is with you, God is working with you. So, in a way, that is saying the same thing that we are saying over here.
Meditating 16, if you have a book, the same thing. I want you to open to Meditation 16. It reads, to live in lack is earthly, manly, and hell, but abundant is heavenly, godly, and paradise. What do you mean by that?
Yes, I mean, the whole thing has always been we separating, or we are in this world where we have needs. That means we lack some, in some level we lack something, right? In one way or the other we lack something. And when it comes to knowledge, we come as babies, we all have to learn. And to what extent of your consciousness can you expand in your knowledge field? That means even as I'm sitting here, I know from the perimeters of this room, the boundaries of what is going on outside, I have no idea of. So there are so many things in life here that is upon us that we lack. And by so doing, it shapes our attitude, personality, and a lot of things that we do. So what the meditation is saying is that we need to understand that there is lack that is upon us as we live in this world in so many areas of our life. But what are you seeking for, right? In terms of abundance, right? Trying to make us understand that in God, the divine nature where we are from, there is an abundance. So whatever that we are looking at, there is an abundance of that thing that we are looking at. So if you're looking at even physically, those things that we think scarcity, as the last time in one of the meditation we discussed that scarcity is a creation. We, in our structure of governance, created the whole economical structure of scarcity based on supply and demand. It is us that created it. There is so much abundance within God, the Creator, that whatever that we need, if we connect with the source, we will be full and we will be whole again.
Okay. All right. So let's look at saying that to live in lack is earthly, manly, and hell. You know, so I don't know if I understand it. Does it mean to live in lack is being manipulated by man, or I don't really get the manly thing that you put in there?
It's just comparing, as I said, abundance is godly, is comparing the deficient state of a man with the divine nature, which is abundance. In God, everything is abundance.
Okay.
If it comes to wisdom, it's abundance. If it comes to knowledge, it's abundance. If it comes to peace, it's abundance. And even he says the earth and the fullness thereof belongs to the Lord. That means in everything, in that state of being where we are from, everything is in abundance. And then the only way that we can have the peace that we want, the joy that we want, the grace and everything that we want is to connect with the source from which we came.
Okay. So the abundance is heavenly, godly, and paradise. Abundance alone, looking for abundance on this earth, right? It's what the governance is taking advantage of and using man to build, their empire. If I say taking advantage of, because the kind of job that we do, it has really, we've been taught to work from house, you work, then from work, you come home, maybe you spend the money, it goes back to the government, you do. So how are you going to make the abundance that you are looking for? Because is it the riches that you're talking about? Is it what kind of abundance? Spiritual abundance or physical abundance? Like in terms of wealth?
I believe when you want to start moving out to gain possessions, right? You're looking at maybe abundance in terms of wealth and possessions. So wealth and possession, as you come into this world, you don't have, or you have, you need to have more, because at the end of the day, if you have 50 million, your father gave you 50 million, by the time you're 20 years, 50 million will not be enough, depending on how the economy, inflation and everything, and how you're going to spend it. So you need abundance of wisdom, you need knowledge.
That is what I'm
You
talking
need
about.
those things
Abundance
to be
of
able
what?
to, yeah,
Yes.
you need those things. So internally, we need abundance, not just, as Jesus said, a man's life depends on the things that he possesses, right? But you need so many things within you. It's like three young guys in a village. You pick them up. One goes to become a doctor, one becomes an engineer, one becomes a pilot, and then the other guy is still the same in the village drinking. You see, at the end of the day, the knowledge, the path that they took brought those things to them. It wasn't just like within the next 4 years, right? Their life changed, and their attitude, their personality, everything changed. It wasn't money that way they took that changed them. If you had come and meet them and you gave them 50 million, and then you each one 50 million and you left them, perhaps you came back and they will still be in that state, or they've squandered the 50 million, or what would happen to them? But you took one to medical school, took one to a pilot school, took one to an engineering school. In the end, with that
left one in the
knowledge,
village.
in the end, the knowledge and then the environment, everything that they had changed them, and now they can have the material things that they want, right? So there are things that we need internally in abundance that can affect the things that we can get physically, right? So in the end, it is what we need to be seeking for. That each and every one of us needs to be seeking for things that are eternal, things that are actually from the source. Because the things around us, if we are looking at like this, the lack as we are talking about, our perception of lack can also affect the way we see things. Imagine wherever that anybody is, if you look behind you, you are better off than the millions of people. You look ahead of you, millions of people are also better than you. No matter how rich you think you are, there are people who are better off than you. So the way the world structure is and how they've made us to perceive material things, even if you begin to have a 50,000 salary, you can live within that means, within that level. But as soon as you get more, whatever that you think you need then changes. Because if there is a car that you're using, when you get more, now there is a better car which is better than you using now. Even a house that you're living in, you can think, oh, I got more now, I got $1 million salary now, so I can change my house, right? So when we are looking at the lack as we have defined it in the physical world in possession, is also affected, our perception of it is affected by how the world is structured. How the world, because when we are talking even simple thing as water, it's not the same for everybody. We got rich man water and a poor man water, just simple water. So in that sense, when you're looking at lack, your mind will be like, okay, let me get more money to buy better water.
Okay.
So in that dimension, it is the world system that has created that kind of quest and desire to have, and then I call it artificial lack. In the midst of abundance, they've created artificial lack. In a place where there is good, they've created artificial shortage.
Okay.
So it is earthly. To me, lack is enemy of mankind, and at the same time, it is earthly. It is not heavenly. For us to live in abundance is what God is. God is abundance.
For us to live in abundance is what God is. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back shortly after this break. I think it's becoming interesting. We have a couple of questions to wrap up with the program. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. So this kind of abundance, if you create the abundance, as we are also, because the whole idea of this book is to create what do you call it? Saints among us, right? So creating saints and trying to have abundance of what? Abundance of what? And if you say because of survival, we have to use all means possible to survive and to get the abundance. For me, it's really baffles my understanding a little bit.
Contradiction.
Yeah, contradiction a little bit.
Yes, it's not contradictory in a sense that you first have to acknowledge that there is abundance.
Yeah,
God is abundance. If you have God, you should be having abundance.
abundance.
And if we understand there is abundance, we don't need to cheat.
I remember this.
We don't need to cheat at all.
This song in Ghana is said, if you have God, I have everything. Francis Ejay. Say me wo Yesu a, me wo adi na. Say Yesu o ka sa jore. Adi na bo me.
But sometimes it's not like that.
It's not
when
like
you're
that.
hungry.
Me wo Yesu. Me wo adi na ro. Say Yesu bo me. Okay, go ahead.
So it's the same thing, right? We are saying here, right, that yes, the first law of life is survival. But there are two paths. There's always two paths. You either take the path of righteousness or you take the path of demons or evil. And what we mean by the path of righteousness is that you are seeking to live by making sure that others live righteously. Or you are seeking to live by taking from others to make your own life. And then we know that those that we came to meet, some of them has these structures in place that they take from us. Because if you came to meet me in this town, I have all the houses, the buildings. I set the price that you rent. I said how much you have to pay. I mean, you have to work all the day, everything to pay me whilst I sit in my room and I just take the money and enjoy. However, I came to this world without that. I didn't come into this world with all the houses and something. Through some means that I also got, and then I built it. So we are talking about the whole idea, right? Even when we go to church, testimony, right? People share testimonies of the abundance that, oh, God has done this for me. God has made me this. So it makes someone also sitting there think that, oh, okay, if God is not doing it for me, then maybe I'm sin and all those things, right? So all that this meditation is bringing our minds to is that we need to acknowledge that God is abundance. And he says, them that receive abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness shall reign in life as king in this world. So when you understand that this world, we are in here, short period, 70 years, and there is abundance. And that is why we don't give room for evil ones. Because if we live in a society when things that belongs to us, we allow corruption, we allow things that will destroy their lives. Like I always say, it's 10%. Whatever you do is 10%. When we come together as Ghanaians, as Americans, as a people, what it does for your survival is 90%. Until we understand that, then all the lack that we are seeing, we think it's ours, but it is the whole community that has resulted to that. It is that. It's just that. Because if you want to build a house, you can be in a country where they give you loan, you have it. But you have to be in a country where you have to work 30 years and save 30 years before you build. If you want to have a car, in some countries, you would have to work and save sweat and pain to earn that car. In some countries,
if you cannot sweat and pain, you have to go through the dubious means. That's what they do.
No. That's what I'm saying. But it's the choice of individuals.
Okay.
God gave everybody their choice. And that's why Christians preach the path of righteousness, the good news. Because we know if we don't tell you, the Bible says, how would they believe unless somebody tells them? They will do their own thing. People have their sovereign being. They will choose to do whatever they want to do. So there are people who would, as we know, we came to meet them. You came into this world, wicked people are already here. They have chosen a way and a path which is, they will have to take from you to be their life. Without you, their whole facade of wealth, of riches, of power is nothing. So they would always have to make sure that you remain in a state where they will take an advantage of you. That is the reality we all have to come to understand. And if you understand that, okay, I live in a place where there is abundance, and that's why when it comes to democracy and all this, we have participation. We all the people participate to build this whole thing that we are in. And if you understand that 90% of what going on in my life comes as a result of the society, the community, the country, the nation, then you're not going to allow somebody that you came to meet that chooses to do an evil way, take the evil way, take from you to make his life. Because and that is the whole thing. Because for some reason we have accepted this since time immemorial, that we've elevated some people above ourselves, or we come to worship some people, and then we fail to seek that whatever that they have is as a result of what we have made them to be. And that is where we are. Then we be fighting, we've been killing each other, and some of us, we've been taught to endure pain and suffering, to take on lack as if it's an identity, right? We've come to accepted lack and hell, as the Bible, the meditation said, lack is hell. We've come to accept that consciousness as an identity and as something that belongs to us.
For that one, it's whose fault?
How do you blame somebody when they came and it's survival? How do you blame them, right? We came to meet them. As I always say, you came to meet the system that seek to make some. Because what we've been taught is that when you open your eyes, all that you see in your awareness is that it's working for my good. That, the banking system is there to work for my good. Maybe Ghana housing system, that the structure that they have is there to work for my good. That I may have to work for 30 years. And if I miss the payment, they come for the house. It's there to work for my good. I have to work for 40 years, 50 years before I retire. It's there for my good. And nobody is questioning it. That no. Why is it that this whole institution that we have is not working for everybody, but it's working for few? This whole tax system is working for few. This whole this is working for few. How do we correct it? And as a sovereign being, I have right to question this thing if it's not working for us.
And if you question, they intimidate you. That is exactly what we were talking about first at initial.
And it's a safeguard.
That is what that is what we were talking about Ghana football and the coaching staff. Coach who did not apply for a job, you just brought him from house and gave it to him.
It's a safeguard. It's a safeguard.
They went to his club to say, hey, we want him, so you have to pay off the club and take him, knowing very well that he doesn't qualify. What were you hiding? What were your plans? What were you trying to do? That without him, you think you can't succeed. Your plans cannot succeed. And then you did it, and now we have to pay him off about $500,000 before we allow him for compensation. You see, this is what we're talking about. So there are people who think that we always have to use others to survive. Definitely. Whatever the case may be, you have to use it.
It's a way of life. Back in those days, when Jesus, like we say, movement revolution after his death, it was called the people of the way because it's a way of life. Like if you want to live right, it's a way of life. Somebody's living life because we are beings which are spirit beings, intelligence, whichever way you may call it, consciousness, whichever way you may call it. And you have to have a way that consciousness would live and survive. It's a way. And that is what we're saying. We have a righteous way and then the evil way. It's not necessarily bad, like as we may imagine. This is evil, judgment, and all those things. In a sense, it is kind of a path and existing. It's more like an identity.
So it's a way of life. So it's a choice.
People choose. People choose to go in that path, and people also choose because you have to survive, and you got to choose one of these ways. And some people are forced to take one way because some people came. And at the end of the day, they choose way of hell and a way of pain because by their taking away from you, it leaves you in lack. Because they're taking the very source of your life to make their source. Because we all have to live, we all have to grow, but one has to take from another to make another. And we are always preaching the path of righteousness that it's not so. If they are to allow with love in their hearts to put into places institutions and make good laws and consciousness with conscience that these things that we are doing is for the benefit of the people. Like when they wake up, do they really think about the problems they are solving? Okay, there are problems. There are flooding issue. There are electricity issue. There are unemployment issue. There are hunger.
Education.
And the education. We have plans. We have vision. We want to make here a heaven. What can we do? Imagine if this was the path and the things were in their heart to do, it would be different. And it comes with sacrifice. The righteous path, unfortunately for us in this world, comes with a sacrifice because of lack that is upon us. We have to. Sometimes you have to because in a way, how how are you going to do it without you yourself like not having? So it comes with sacrifice, and unfortunately, those that take the other path, they are not willing to sacrifice for others.
Unfortunately, those that take the other path, they are not willing to have the sacrifice to accept it. Ofa, this is very in-depth.
It is in depth.
It is sad.
It's also it's meditation.
It's
You got to sit down and then think about it and meditate upon it. And may the Lord grant you wisdom and understanding unto
Amen.
it. Yeah.
Amen. You can drop your comment at the comment section as you are listening. As I said, The Meditations of a Christian Saint, this is a book, and he is the author of the book. Go to Amazon, it's just $15. When you buy it on TikTok, a little bit expensive, just a little bit, because he's going to ship it by himself. But for Amazon, they will ship it. So it's just $15 there. If today happened to be the first time that you are watching us and you've not subscribed to our channel, please do us a favor and subscribe to our channel, be part of the community. My name is Atabafo Jambron, of course, here with Mr. Agyemang Bonsu. Ofa, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Until we meet another time next week, God willing, enjoy the rest of your week, and let's pray for Mother Ghana or Mother Africa. We love you, so love us the same. Bye-bye.